Hello there, welcome back to Marcus's educational videos. And I think an important thing to talk about is economic collapse and how exactly to prepare for that. Um, Lots of people will talk about investing, invest in commodities and things like that, but I think this is going to be even more drastic than that, and I think for at least several years, maybe a generation, we're going to actually have to revert back to normal human living. So, what that would entail, normal human living would be like actually being in contact with people instead of internet, and just like, basically forced interactions and things and corporations. It's going to be you doing what you're good at, working for yourself, and that's basically it. Basically, the money, or the goods that you can get from trading and bartering and offering your services to people is what is going to get you through. So I just wanted to go through, what are good ways to look at this, how to prepare yourself mentally, physically, with your skills especially. So basically, just to start off, what I think is going to happen is I've been doing some calculations, based on comets and biblical prophecy, and it seems like bad stuff is going to start happening in around January 2018. January 2018, that is. And the reason I think that is because there's, from what I've learned, 666-year cycles starting at about 15 AD. There's been a comet that's come around, 15 AD. I think it was 681 AD. 14 something, which was the year of the bubonic plague. And then, most recently, January 2014 is one of those cycles. And every time this comet comes by, I believe it's the same comet, it comes by every 666 years, which lines up with biblical prophecy of 666. Sorry, my throat's hoarse. Lines up with the 666 biblical prophecy. So I think that this is signifying the end of an age. It's the fourth horseman in the Bible. It's the age of the fourth creature in Daniel chapter 7. So this is the beginning of a new age, and things are going to get shaken up. I mean, what characterized the last age, the bubonic plague age, was the age of bankers. So that age is over now. So as the bankers fall out of the picture, we're going to have to take up the slack and actually do stuff for ourselves. So the most important thing is to figure out what you're good at. I mean, I believe that each person was born with a destiny, I guess you could say, is something that you were genetically raised, blah, 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 to be able to be good at something. And I believe everybody is. Maybe some people it's many things. For me, it's medicine. I have a natural gift for medicine, a natural gift for natural inventing, being able to invent things to solve common everyday problems. So that's what I do. And as far as medicine, the natural medicines are herbs, so I have to also be decent at growing plants and taking care of them. So the key is just to find out what you're good at. Maybe you're good at with animals. Maybe you love animals. Maybe you're good at raising them and could do that for others. Maybe you're good at sales. Maybe you're good at taking a product that somebody designs. Somebody like me would design the product, and then a sales type person would be good at promoting the product, getting it sold, getting it advertised, etc. Maybe you're good at trading, bartering, making profitable trades. What else could you be good at? good at farming, growing food, good at cleaning water, good at building houses or devices or whatnot, good at designing, mathematically designing things. So, good at beautifying things, making interior design and things like that. So the key here is you can't count on the corporatocracy to take care of you during this period. There's going to be layoffs. There's going to be people without jobs. There's going to be people that cannot get jobs no matter how much education you have. Sometimes more education is detrimental to finding a job. So the key is that you have to find out what you're good at. You need to develop your skills. You need to become a master at them so that you are in demand. When the banks fail, when corporate America fails, and nobody's going to give you a job, you're going to have to create your own job. You're going to have to, better now than in 2018 when it actually crashes, better to start now so that you're actually established in what you're going to do when it crashes. So, if you're working the 9 to 5 and watch sports when you get home and get drunk every night, you're not going to be ready when 2018 hits and things start to go to crap. So you need to start now. You need to start developing your skills. We definitely didn't develop our skills in school. We just learned what corporate America wanted us to learn in school. So you're going to have to start from scratch, figure out what your passion is, and start getting good at it, and start developing a customer base, if possible, local if possible. I'm working on it. I'm establishing my customer base. They're not local for the most part, but you got to start somewhere. So the internet is a good tool to at least get started. You can't count on it always being up, but at least you can get practice at what you're doing on the internet. Selling to people on the internet and whatnot, so that when things do crash, you'll be good at what you do, and people around you will need your services. So for me, I think just in general, some very important things in the case of collapse. Obviously you're looking at food, water, and shelter as the most important things, and then very closely related to that is medicine. So I'm more of a medicine kind of guy. So I am, and will continue to work on natural medicines that I can make for people that don't require a $1 trillion pharmaceutical company to make. So that's important. So mostly herbs and minerals and things like that I can use for medicine. So that's an important thing. So medicine I'm working on mostly. And then also food and water and shelter are very important. So water, I've been working on purifying tap water, which you can't always count on the tap. So it's good to be able to know how to get water from the earth as far as like evaporation of biological materials. A good way, like Waterworld, the movie, the guy pees into a thing and it filters it, but that's not necessarily the best way to get it. But I think having a waste pit where you put all of your waste and then putting a tarp over it, collecting the condensation, basically not allowing that just to evaporate in the atmosphere, but collecting the condensation, that's like distilled water right there. So that will be an important factor for water. Obviously digging wells. If you have a well, that's very, very good, because you don't have to rely on city water, or obviously not supermarket water, which is even more unstable than city water. So water is an important thing to concern yourself with. Also food. You want to be able to grow your own food, and I'm working right now on being able to live off of only wheat and olive oil and water, obviously, and then some citrus once in a while. So I'm working on that. I'm doing quite well with it. Basically, if you want to live on primarily carbohydrate source like that, you need to keep your intestines cleaned of yeasts and bacteria and stuff. So I use my medicinal knowledge, herbal medicinal knowledge, to be able to accomplish that. And so I think oil is going to be a very important one. So if you are interested in energy or in anything like that, oil is a great one to work on growing. I think olives, the olive plant, is going to be a very pivotal part of survival in the collapse. So, grow olives, learn how to grow olives, how to press them for oil. I mean, the oil is very useful, obviously, in cooking, obviously in eating, but also in light. I mean, you're not going to have electricity, so you're going to need olive oil lamps, which work really well. I mean, it's like an easy candle. All you need is like a little wick made out of like cotton or whatever. Stick that in a little bowl of olive oil, and you light the end, and you have light. You have a candle that you can refill with oil, and that you can make yourself from olive oil, from pressing olives. Also, you can run engines off of plant oils, especially like a diesel engine. I mean, the diesel engine was designed to run off of peanut oil. So I think, oil plants are going to be very important. Carbohydrate plants like wheat or oats or corn, things like that, are going to be very important. I mean, obviously fruits and vegetables too. It's just harder. I think they're more of a peripheral thing, as long as you're cleaning your intestines well. So let me just go through a few oils that I think are important, and maybe you could think about learning how to grow some of these plants for oil. You got coconut oil, corn oil, cottonseed oil, olive oil, palm oil, peanut oil, rapeseed oil, safflower oil, sesame oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, also calendula oil, which is an interesting one because that's a smaller plant. It's like an herb, so it's easier to grow that. Nut oils, you got almond oil, beech nut oil, cashew oil, hazelnut, macadamia, mongongo, pecan, pine nut, pistachio, walnut, grapefruit seed, lemon, orange, other seed oils. And a really important one also is algae oil. So like growing freshwater algae, like possibly spirulina, chlorella, different algae. I think that will produce a lot of oil. And if you're into the whole oil refining process, like chemical refining oil, you're gonna love algae oil, and that's gonna be your thing, maybe. Yeah, and we can also run cars off of that type of stuff, purifying algae oil. So just a lot of things to keep in mind. Try to find your niche. You might not be a grower or a producer, but maybe you're a facilitator, or you're any kind of skill that you're inherently good at. Keep practicing that, keep developing that, and learn how to apply that skill to more primitive circumstances. Not necessarily a society with banks and with paved roads and with what else? Fancy cars and jets and all of that. Try to learn how to tailor your abilities to a simpler life, and I think you'll do very well. And if you at all can do anything related to production of food, water, shelter, definitely focus on those. Medicine is also another really big one, so we're going to need as many people focusing on those essentials as possible. In Africa right now, 7 out of 10 people are farmers. Here it's like 1 out of 2,000. So that just goes to show that in the event of societal collapse, 7 out of 10 of us probably are going to need to be farmers. So that's a very big one. So, water production, food production, especially oil production, those are going to be the most important things. So think about those, ponder that, and see what skills you want to develop. And if it's food, and I hope you do want to do food or water at least, go online, buy some seeds, start practicing, start growing stuff, start. A great thing to sell is seeds. Seeds, I mean, are literally more valuable than gold. You know, you can sell a dozen seeds from one of your plants, you know, that you collect in 5 seconds. You can sell that for a couple bucks online. So, I mean, seeds are definitely a huge profit source, and it's also a security source, because if you have seeds, when the collapse happens, you can grow. But before then, you're going to need to practice and get good at it. So get seeds now, practice growing them. You know, if you want to work on creating water, start doing it now. Start getting some supplies, go online, read about how to dig a well, or how to collect water via evaporation, etc. You know, if you want to learn how, if you're a builder, you start learning now how to build shelters, different types of shelters, how to build with natural materials, things like that. You know, if you're into medicine, start to learn about the herbs. I mean, it's never too early to start learning about herbs and their uses and how to grow them. So those are some very important things, very important skills to have for an economic collapse. So focus on it. Let's get through this in a fun way, and you know, do well in this new era that we just entered, 2014. So expect 2018 to be the real catalyst, the real oomph beginning of this new age and the end of the old age. You know, expect the banks to go away, expect, you know, governmental programs to go away, expect you know, easy energy to go away, like electricity, things like that. So if you do that, you're going to do well. Alright, take care.